Hello, everybody. Happy Thursday. It's almost end of the week, right? Well, I'm glad you guys are here tonight. I'm going to do a little bit of follow-up from the things that I talked about on Monday. So in case you missed Monday, just a little introduction of me. My name is Brenda Starr. I am a licensed independent social worker. I have worked as a school social worker for 16 years now. I'm working on starting a coaching business called Raising Resilient Rock Stars, and I am also teaching various social and emotional learning classes on OutSchool. So I'll tell you a little bit more about those things at the end of our time frame. Just a little about me personally. I'm a mom to a teenage daughter. She's just turned teenage years a few weeks ago, so we're getting into that teenage year stuff. I also am a mom to 3 grown stepdaughters, so it's not necessarily anything new. Have 2 grandsons, and a fun fact about here, which if you watched the other night, you definitely noticed because my little animals decided to come help. But we have a zoo in our house. We have dogs, a dog, cats, bird, bunny, fish, all kinds of things. So who knows if you may or may not hear or see an animal tonight. So just a little fun thing here, a little bonus sometimes. So I wanted to just kind of recap Monday, what we had talked about on Monday. And I did say, I saw the post in the group tonight, kind of reminded you I was going to be on tonight, and I mentioned in there to bring in a notebook and a pen. So hopefully you've done that because we're going to kind of build some on what we talked about the other night. So Monday night we did talk about just my take on what it means to be resilient, is that you need to have good coping skills, you need to have a positive approach to the world, and you need to be open to learning and growing. So within that, my personal take on that is mindfulness is a great coping skill. Practicing gratitude is a great way to have a positive approach to the world. And then creating a growth mindset is what allows you to have that room for growing and learning. The kind of title of my time frame has been Taming Our Inner Critic, which falls within that growth mindset part. When our negative voice in our head takes over, we don't have that room in there for learning, for growing. We get that fixed mindset. I can't do this. I'll never be able to do this. I'm horrible at this. That fixed mindset. So what we want to do is get rid of those negative thoughts, which we talked about those strategies Monday. I'm going to recap here in just a minute. And then create some space for new, more positive thoughts. And that will also create more positive emotions. So just that quick recap from Monday. And I'll be honest, tonight is not new skills, but it's going to be ways that you can do the things that I've already talked about with kids. So Monday was kind of geared a little bit more at us as adults. The way we can kind of reframe things that are in our head. So that's just you yourself. But what I wanted to talk to you guys about tonight was if you're wanting to help someone else do that process, there's a little bit more involved with it. So we're going to talk about that tonight. And hopefully you brought your notebook and pen because there might be some things that you want to write down. I'm going to cover kind of quite a few things. But we'll get into that here in just a minute. So anyway, the strategies that I had talked about Monday for us as adults, was all about remembering that a thought is not a fact. It's just that. It's a thought. Doesn't make it a fact because we think it. And we'll talk a little bit more on that tonight. We talked about moving our negative thoughts to neutral thoughts. Maybe not all the way yet to positive thoughts, but let's at least get them to that neutral point. I'm going to give you a way to be able to do that tonight. And then we also talked about the power of yet. Just adding that word to the end of our statement. I can't do that yet. I'm not good at that yet. So we're going to, again, talk about that too. And hopefully I did share with you guys a video that I hope you were able to watch. It's from Mel Robbins. I don't know if you're familiar with her, but she's wrote a book. She's a motivational speaker. I absolutely love listening to her because whenever I get done listening to her, I feel this new, invigorated sense of I can accomplish things. So I do recommend you guys listening to her, reading her book, following her. She's got a lot of great stuff. The video I shared with you guys the other day was called the 5-second rule. That's a strategy that she has created that I think is amazing. So I hope you were able to watch that video also and maybe walk away with something from what she has to share. So anyway, for tonight, I want to get on with what we're going to talk about tonight. So tonight, we're going to build on those same 3 strategies, and we're going to talk about a way that you can actually work on these things, whether it's with your own kids, with students at school, both, grandkids, whoever. One thing to kind of think about is if you do start to work on this with kids, it kind of needs to be at their pace. You don't want to force them. You don't want to say, okay, right now we got to sit down, we have a half hour, this is what we're going to do. Kind of needs to flow a little naturally. Ideally, they're open to it, wanting to do it, willing to do it. If they're not, wait for a different time. You also might do these things in kind of short little spurts, maybe 5-10 minutes here, 5-10 minutes there. So it wouldn't be something that you would sit down necessarily and do for half hour, an hour. You know, depending on the age of the kiddo that you're with, you might get up to 15-20 minutes if they're engaged and okay with it, but just kind of keeping those things in mind. So, all right, so the one strategy we talked about the other night was a thought is not a fact. So we kind of did the example so that you guys could get a feel for what I was talking about, where I said, look around your room. Think, I'm going to see a unicorn. And then when you look around your room, did you see the unicorn just because you had that thought? And of course, the answer was no. Unless by chance you had a stuffed animal unicorn, but that doesn't count. We can't make a unicorn appear just because we think it. So a thought is a thought. It's not a fact. So when you're working on that with kids, a great way to help them see that, and kind of also the fact that our thoughts come and go. You know, we don't have to stick with any one thought that we have. So a great activity to do with them, you can do this yourself. If you just have just a piece of paper, draw some clouds, you know, just a little cloud shape on your paper. Just draw several of them on your paper. Cut them out, and then have the kids write whatever their negative thought that they have in their head is on that piece of paper. So it might be something like, this usually just seems to come up a lot. I'm not good at math. They can write that on there. I'm not a good reader. I'm trying to think of other things. You know, whatever the negative thought is that you're hearing a lot from the kid. Have them write that on a cloud that's cut out. Kind of for a little fun piece to it, you can tape it to a cotton ball. Because if you think about clouds, clouds are a lot like our thoughts. You can kind of help them see this. You know, when you look outside on a cloudy day, the clouds don't stick around forever. A cloud comes, the cloud goes, a new cloud comes, that cloud goes, and it kind of keeps doing that. So if you write that negative thought on that cloud, kind of tape it to that cotton ball for the effect of a cloud, and maybe toss it into a trash can. Just toss it and let it go. Sometimes that helps kids realize they can let go of those thoughts. They don't have to keep them and hold on to them. They can let them go. And the actual action of putting that thought on paper and then letting it go is really solidifying for kids. So if you're wanting to work on them, helping them learn that thoughts are not facts and our thoughts come and go, that's a fun activity to do with them. So hopefully that one will help you. One of the other strategies I talked about was using the power of yet. Just adding that word yet to the end of our sentences. So a great way to work on that with kiddos is to write it down. And as you guys are watching this, whether you watch it now or you watch it on replay, you can type these things in the comments. That's going to really help you guys solidify these things also. So the one I just shared was thought is not a fact. So you guys can type that in the comments here. Just again, solidifying it in your head. A thought is not a fact. So hopefully I'll see that start popping up in here. I see a couple people on here. Hi, Emily. Hi, Rachel. Nice to see you guys. So go on ahead and just type that in here in the comments. A thought is not a fact. The second one I just now was sharing was the power of yet. So you can just type that word in there. Just type yet in. So with the power of yet, the strategy that you can do with kids is really having them write down their negative thought. Like, have them write down. I'm just going to use math. I'm not good at math. And then have them physically write yet after it. So, I'm not good at math yet. Have them write that down. Then they're going to follow it up with a positive statement that can become a new, like, positive affirmation that they tell themselves. So you might have the example of, I can't do math yet, and then follow that up with, but I can do hard things. Because even if right now they're not good at math, they've probably had other things that they felt they couldn't do that were hard, but they did them. So this is going to help them associate feeling like they can't do math with something else that felt that way, but that they did do it. So just putting that down, I can't do math yet, but I can do hard things, is going to help to solidify that more positive thought. Another example, maybe if you got older kiddos that need to do speeches in front of a classroom, sometimes you hear people, oh, I'm not good at making speeches, that type of thing. So again, let's write that down. I'm not good at doing speeches yet, but I can face my fears. So that's a really good statement to kind of add on with something like that. They're probably having some fear of being up in front of the class. Their peers are going to watch them. Will they say the wrong thing? Will they sound stupid? All those thoughts. So I'm not good at making speeches yet, but I can face my fears. Because they've had other situations that they've been worried about or feared, and they faced them and they did them. So just putting that written down for them to see, to say every day, can again solidify that. So this one is the power of yet. You'll want to type that in here, write it down in your notes, make sure you remember that one, the power of yet. Our third strategy, now this is where your notebook might come in handy. Our third strategy actually has 5 steps to it. It's the longer one. I kept it for the last one so that it'll maybe kind of help solidify it in your brain, because there is a few steps to it to do it in the most effective way. So our last strategy that we had talked about was moving those thoughts from a negative thought to just that neutral, just moving it to the middle. We'll eventually get to the positive thought, but let's at least move it to a neutral thought. So step number 1, when you have a kid who's starting to get upset, I just keep coming back to math. I just see that so much. They're trying to work on their math. They're getting upset. I can't do this. The first thing that you really, really want to do is just hold some space for that emotion. I think so many times us as adults think when we start to see that, like, oh, we got to fix it. We got to jump in there. We need to change this. We got to do something, Just take a step back. Take a minute. Hold that space. Let them feel that emotion. It's okay. Acknowledge it. Identify it. You might even say something like, wow, that must be really hard to feel this way about math. Just acknowledge that it's tough. It's really tough. At the same time, you have to make sure that you're working on managing your own fears. I've seen many times, and I've even felt it myself, as I've seen students start to get kind of, upset. You can kind of start to see a little escalation. Our fear ourselves starts to escalate. Are they going to become out of control? Maybe if this is your own kid at home, you might think, like, are they always going to think this way? They're always going to have these negative thoughts. I got to do something to change this. Whatever that is, that's our fear. Many times it's a fear of, am I going to know how to help them? Am I going to know how to fix this? So all of these fears, all of our thoughts start up. So keep that in check. This is all still within this step 1 of allowing that space for the emotion. Manage our fear. Let them express their emotion. Acknowledge it. Without judgment. It's not going to be beneficial to, oh, don't be so upset. Oh, you don't have to cry about it. It's okay. Hold back on all of those statements. Don't say those. Just, wow, it must be really rough to feel this upset. And just leave it at that and see what happens. See what they say. Just allowing them that opportunity to kind of identify that is so super powerful. So give them that space. If it's hard for you, and I've said manage our own fears, completely normal, completely human to have that fear come along. If you need to, here's a quick strategy for you as the adult in that situation to kind of keep that fear in check. Just think, stop, drop, and roll. But it's not going to be stop, drop, and roll. That's what they do when there's a fire, right? This one is stop, drop, and breathe. Now, I don't mean actually stop and drop to the floor. But if you can think about that, stop, drop, and breathe. Stop. Don't make those comments. Wait a minute. Just take that breath. That's going to allow just a moment for that space. Take that breath and then follow it up with that statement. So that's kind of a really effective thing for us to do as the adult to kind of keep ourselves in check so that we then allow them that space to feel that emotion, to kind of process through that emotion. So that's all step number 1. Step number 2 is to do a centering activity, kind of connecting with their senses. When we connect with our senses, it's a really good way to get us grounded, centered, here in the present moment. So this is a really great spot for mindfulness. Any kind of activity that uses your senses. So it might be deep breathing, like what I had just mentioned. There's an activity that you can do that's using your senses to notice the environment. So it's like using, say, 5 things that I can see, 4 things that I can touch, 3 things that I can hear, 2 things I can smell, 1 thing I can taste. So it's that type of thing, just using your senses to notice things in your environment. Really get you centered and grounded. It might be something as simple as listening to music. That's a sense. Drawing. Maybe if it's cold weather, drink a hot chocolate together. That gets your senses going. So anything that helps you get centered using your senses would be number 2. So make sure you do that. That's also allowing them time to kind of separate themselves from that like negative thought or fear they were just having, so that they don't start to bring it into it being a part of their core self. You don't want that thought to become part of their core self and part of how they think they have to be. So it allows them, it can let them see it was just that fear talking. I have a sense of self that exists outside of that fear. So that's kind of what that centering is all about. Right here, right now, present time. That was my fear, but this is me. This is who I am. I do want to stress, I haven't really said this too much yet, but I want to stress this is not yet the time for any kind of problem solving. I'm going to tell a little lie or whatever about myself, a little truth about myself. There we go. I tend to jump to problem solving too quick. And I think there's probably other adults out there that do that same thing. You see this kid struggling with this issue, and the first thing you want to do is just figure it out, solve it. Let's figure out a solution to what's going on here. No problem solving yet. There'll be a step for problem solving, but you got to hold that space for that emotion. Get yourself centered before you get to that problem solving. And one more step too. Step 3 is redefine how they talk to themselves. So there's kind of 3 different scenarios within here. If it's an internal thought, an internally stated thought, such as, I'm not good enough. You want to externalize that. Instead of them keeping that internalized, I'm not good enough, have them externalize that. So it might be something like, help them identify a situational circumstance that caused that. So just as an example, maybe you have a kiddo who plays soccer or plays basketball, and they missed a goal or they missed making a basket. Now, I'm just not good at basketball, or I'm just not good at soccer, just because they missed that one goal. So you might help them see, well, let's think about this scenario. You did miss the goal, but it was raining. Your feet slipped because the ground was wet. So kind of find some things outside of themselves so that it's not, I'm bad at soccer. this missed goal happened because of these circumstances. So that is moving it from being internal to external. Another situation you might see is if it's more of the way they state it, it's a permanent statement. This is the way it's going to be, always been, always going to be. So an example of a statement that way might be, I'm always bad at math. Okay, there was probably a time when math felt hard, but they did it. So they haven't always been bad at math. Maybe right now they're not getting this particular thing. So you want to help them stop and think, when were you successful at math? When was the time that you were able, what did you figure out about math? So moving it from that permanent, I'm always bad at, I'm always going to be bad at, whatever, to thinking of times that they were successful. So that temporary thing, you're not always going to be bad at math. You once did it at this time, you're going to do it again. So making it a temporary thing. And then the last example is sometimes they think of it as a pervasive thing. Everything, everywhere, all of everything about this particular subject is this way. So it's all or nothing. So you want to move that to being a little bit more specific with the particular situation. Again, an example. I like these concepts are kind of not overly clear unless you have those good examples with it. So for this one, what I would say, a pervasive thought is, oh, I just suck at all sports, right? They missed this one goal. All of a sudden, I just suck at all sports. So help them to see you're disappointed because you missed today's goal. So it's more specific. You don't suck at all sports. When you're doing these things, you don't want to just negate the comment that they made, but just kind of help clarify it. So instead of saying, oh, you don't suck at all sports, that's not true. Don't say that part. But you might say, when they say, I suck at all sports, you might say, well, you did miss today's goal, but you've had other times you've made goals. So you're not saying that what they think is wrong or bad, but helping them move from that pervasive thought to just something really specific with this scenario. So that there were a lot of things there. As you guys are right now, if you're watching it, as you watch it as a replay, if you guys have questions, type them in here. This is kind of why I said bring a notebook for tonight. I wanted to share a lot with you guys tonight. I really think it's important when we hear kids making these statements to give them alternate ways to handle these statements. That's kind of why I'm going through various ways for you guys tonight. So if you have questions, put them in here. I'll be happy to get back to you guys. You can also message me questions. I'm fine with that too. I'm just here to help you guys, help yourselves get rid of those negative thoughts, as well as help kids get rid of those negative thoughts. So anyway, that was number 3. There's still 2 more. I just wanted to throw that in there because that one felt like really a lot within that one. So, so step number 4, you finally arrived at the problem solving point. Now you can begin to problem solve with them. So this would be the point, you help them, you held that space for their emotion, you help them recenter themselves, and you've redefined how they're explaining that challenge. So you did all of that. So now you're ready to take it to that problem solving point. Let them lead this. Don't just, here's a way to solve it, and then be done. Well, what do you think? What are some ideas that you have of how we might be able to handle this situation that seems very challenging for you? See what ideas they give. If it's something that you can work with, go with that. If not, you can offer one, but don't just offer it right off the bat. Let them kind of lead with some ideas, but do help them break their ideas down into like reasonable, doable steps. So sometimes kids have this really big, oh, well, I can do this big, whatever. I'll become the best soccer player possible by tomorrow. Well, let's think of the steps that we need to do to become that great soccer player. So you're working with their idea, but let's put it into some steps. So that's number 4, is go on ahead and get to that problem solving. Help them come up with some solutions. And then number 5 is kind of help them reflect on this process, especially once they've put that action into their solution into action and they've, realized some type of outcome, you can help them process that. How does that feel? If they came up with a solution, they tried it, it worked, instead of, oh, great job making that goal today, maybe you can process it. Hey, I saw you made that goal today. How did that feel? How did that feel when it was so challenging and then now you were able to do it? Process that, reflect on that, help them reflect on that. And I'm glad to see that. I'm happy to hear it's helpful. I know it feels like a lot, and if you even walk away with any piece of what I've shared tonight that helps you, that's great. These are all multiple ideas, not meaning you have to do all of them, not meaning you have to attack each situation you see with every single step I've shared tonight. If you just walk away with the power of yet, that's perfectly fine. Just add yet to some statements. It's a very great place to start. But if you've wrote these other things down, you can work, incorporate them at times too. So that's kind of the part of moving that from negative to neutral. There's those various steps. Kind of want to follow those in the order that I talked about them for that to be the most effective. Once you get them to the neutral thought, you can work towards those more positive, kind of like self-affirmation type statements. But just at least moving it from negative to neutral is going to help stop that negative voice that's going inside. So I hope those were helpful things between how to help yourself tame those negative thoughts, how to help kids tame those negative thoughts. Again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to type them in here. Feel free to message me with them. I did mention at the beginning that I would share some more information with you guys about the projects that I have going on. I do have a free group here on Facebook. It's called Raising Resilient Rock Stars. When I jump off of here, I'll put the link in the comments for that. You guys are welcome to come join that group. I share, hopefully, helpful strategies, tips, resources, things like that within that group to really help us as parents become confident so that we're modeling that confidence and resilience for our kids, as well as strategies that you can use to work on these skills with your kids. Many times our kids learn best by just what we do, what we model for them, how they see us being, what they hear us saying, how we approach challenges. That's honestly the best way that they learn, is by us modeling it. However, there are things that we can do with kids that help them learn those strategies too. So I like to share both. I think both are equally important. So within Raising Resilient Rockstars, you can get some of that. If you join soon, I have a workshop similar to these 2 times I've presented in here that starts March 21st. It's a 3-day workshop all about taming our inner critic. So it's going to be some of the things I've shared here with you guys, plus a little bit more. So if you've felt that either one of these 2 nights has been helpful, feel free to join the group. Come to the free Taming Our Inner Critic workshop that'll start March 21st. I would love to have you guys with us. Another thing I had mentioned was that I am teaching that, so that workshop will be more geared towards us as adults, what we can do to help tame our inner voice. I also teach some classes on OutSchool that are the ones that would be geared more at teaching the kids what they can do. So if your kids, grandkids, nieces, nephews, any particular kids that you know that you feel could benefit from some classes around social and emotional skills, I would love to have them join my classes on OutSchool. I'll put my profile link in the comments when I jump off. Feel free to click on that. You can see what classes I have to offer. If there's one that you would like to take, if you would like to take it for free, just message me and I will send you a specific link for that class that you can use that allows you to sign up, if you're new to OutSchool, that allows you to sign up and you get a $20 credit. It's only a one-time use thing, so it would only be used towards one class, but that would allow you to get that class for free. So just message me and I will send you that link. I probably also should say, if you're not familiar with OutSchool, it's a website, outschool.com. It's got teachers, parents, kids from all over the world. There are a gazillion types of classes offered on about any subject you can think of. My particular specialty that I have on there is around mindfulness. I have a lot of mindfulness classes on there. And I also am working on starting up a show and tell for preschool, kindergarten age that works on empathy and kindness. So anyway, I'll put my profile link in here. Feel free to click on that and you can kind of see what I'm offering for kids on there. So I think that was the main things I was going to share with you guys. I have truly enjoyed my time on here with you guys. I hope your school year is going along okay. I know it's been a rugged year. We're about 3/4 the way through it. I don't know about you guys, but like when I look, I can see that light at the end of the tunnel. I can see it. I think we're going to make it through this year. Hang in there. Remember to take care of yourselves. We can't help our kids succeed at school if we don't take care of ourselves. So be sure to remember that. Again, if you have any questions for me, message them to me. Put them in here either way. Again, thank you, Anna and Mallory, for having me on here. I've really enjoyed it. And I hope you guys have benefited from it too. So thank you again, and I will see you later. All right, bye.